What if all the men just disappeared from Earth? It might sound like a crazy idea, but it is one that has kept many a lonely woman up at night, wondering what life would be like without the opposite sex. But it's also a question that scientists have grappled with, namely in regards to the impact such an event would have on our world, our nature, our world's women, and future generations. So here's what would happen if all the men just disappeared from Earth. Well, first off, there would be some chaos. There are over 6 billion men on the planet, which means that if they all suddenly vanished, there would be a lot of commotion as people tried to figure out where they all went and why. It would be absolute bedlam in every home, every business, and every community. People would be running around not knowing what to do or where to go. The sheer scale of this event would make it impossible for anyone to comprehend, let alone predict what would happen next. In the immediate aftermath, the most obvious thing that would happen is that there would be a lot of crying. Many people would be inconsolable, especially those who had recently lost their male role models, fathers, brothers, sons, or partners. It would be a global tragedy unlike any other, but eventually people would need to pull themselves together and start thinking about the future. Women would need to start thinking about how they were going to provide for themselves and their children. Men usually make more money than women, so this would be a big challenge. However, women are generally more risk-averse, which means they would likely hold on to their jobs and resources more tightly. This would lead to a period of economic uncertainty, but eventually the economy would stabilize. Women would also need to start thinking about how they were going to defend themselves. Men are generally stronger than women, so this would be a big challenge. However, women are generally more intelligent than men, so they would likely be able to come up with some clever solutions. They would need to band together and create female-only communities in order to protect themselves from the outside world. These communities would likely be very tight-knit, and women would need to learn how to fight in order to defend them. In terms of biodiversity, the disappearance of men would have a devastating impact. Male animals are generally larger than female animals, so the disappearance of men would likely lead to a massive die-off of large animals. This is because females typically only need to produce offspring once in order to survive, whereas males need to continuously produce sperm in order to fertilize eggs. Without men, there would be no one to fertilize the eggs of female animals, which would lead to a mass extinction event. In terms of future generations, it's unlikely that there would be any. Obviously, in order for a baby to be conceived, a man and a woman need to mate. If all the men disappeared tomorrow, then no more babies would be born. Eventually, the world would be overrun by elderly people and we would enter a new ice age. So as you can see, the disappearance of men would have a catastrophic impact on our world. Our world relies on the contributions of both men and women in order to function. While there would undoubtedly be a lot of chaos and suffering in the short term, in the long term, it is likely that women would be able to create a new world that works for them. However, this would come at the cost of losing all of the men in our lives. And the world as we know it would never be the same. Do you think you could survive in a world without men? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.